Welcome to Mike and Hoss on Wolfeboro Community Television. I'm Mike Danais.
And I'm Charlie Hossack.
Coach, we're going to have a short show. We have a guest today.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Kingswood Knight,
Yeah.
Megan Twitchell.
Yeah?
She works for the Sports Information Director down at American University.
Yep, down in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, so
That's great.
We're going to educate ourselves about, or Megan's going to educate
she's going to educate us
about what a Sports Information Director does,
Yeah.
what her role is, and I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Sponsors, we'll thank our
Sure.
sponsors, Skelly's Market
Downtown Grill and Cafe.
and Morrissey's Porch and Pub. So
Yeah.
thank you guys very much.
Thanks so much.
Local updates. Again, there is soccer happening. They mentioned it last show at the Nick.
Yep.
There's some clinics happening.
Yeah, they got Tuesdays and Thursday nights. They're down there doing their thing.
Baseball is happening.
Yes.
We have our Senior Babe Ruth team that is happening that has a record, I believe, of 5-1 now at this point.
They are,
Doing very well.
which is great.
And
Fall sports have started. The fields opened up. I believe the fields opened up yesterday, which was Monday, but I know that some teams actually had practice today.
really,
Yeah, this morning I know that the football team, they were out there bright and early doing
Now, is
some
it
small groups.
small group stuff.
Sure.
Right? So it's
Yeah.
it's that preseason, pre-preseason stuff?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not the full fall.
No.
Sport, like,
No, that
where
starts, like August 14th.
That's still
and,
August, yeah.
Of course.
So confusing now because
I know.
some of the rules seem to be thrown out the
yeah,
window.
and
so.
during the summer, any sport can practice. So,
So they actually started. I know that Mr. House, the athletic director, met with the coaches that were doing fall things about COVID guidelines.
sure.
So everybody got through that. We are, at this point, we are still planning on having a fall sports season.
We haven't been told otherwise.
Yep.
And I know today, by the time they see our show, but the Governor Sununu of New Hampshire is releasing school opening guidelines. That'll be released today, and by the time you guys get this, I'm sure it'll be all talked about. And
Do you think he's going to include sports in that?
I would hope so. That's part of school, so I would hope that he would at least mention that. I know that decision is going to come not only through the governor's office but through the NHIAA.
Well, hopefully he's not going to throw a curveball at everybody and cancel sports when
yeah,
they know full and well that they've been happening.
of course.
That this
Yeah.
stuff has been happening. So I'm really hoping that it would be a
Right.
real blow to these guys if it didn't.
It would be a
happen.
blow. And obviously we're not scientists or doctors or anything, but it just seems like the sports that have been happening in the state of New Hampshire, we're outside. So for the most part, everybody's been socially distanced, and it seems to be working at least from the soccer perspective and the baseball perspective. It's working.
In New Hampshire.
It's working in New Hampshire.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's what we
Yeah.
care about right
And
now.
that's right,
In
'cause,
New
yeah.
Hampshire seems to be holding steady.
Yep.
We're not increasing. It's been a couple weeks now where we're not having any increases. We're not decreasing, but we're holding steady.
Right.
And at this point, if you compare ourselves to the rest of the states in the country,
Yeah.
or many of the states in the country, holding steady is good.
Yeah. We're doing well.
And so,
And it's wild because, we're filming this from Wolfeboro, so Wolfeboro being the oldest summer resort, it's busy out there. It's, you go out there sometimes and it feels like last summer prior to the pandemic with the amount of people out there. But, you disagree?
I disagree. I think it's busy compared to April.
Well, gosh,
but, July 4th, I'll use that as an example.
Yeah.
In the past, traffic was back up to Weston Auto Body on one side, and the inn at the other. I was
gotcha.
able to drive right through town at noon.
Right on.
So
They let Mike go through, celebrity.
Well,
Come
yes,
right through.
They do let me.
But I get you.
do
So
that.
maybe okay. So then maybe I'm judging it through the lens of March and April and May.
My wife and I went to eat for the second time.
Oh, you did? What'd you
Yes,
do?
we went to Nolan's.
Okay.
On Sunday night.
Good.
And there was people in there, but it was not very busy.
Did you eat inside?
We ate inside.
Okay.
And we felt comfortable doing that. But I think on a typical mid-July, night on a regular summer,
Yeah. It's going to be a wait and all that.
we would have a tough time
Yeah.
getting, even on a Sunday, we would have a tough time getting in. So I don't think that town is as busy as it has been in the past. You could also the line at the bubble.
Yeah.
You can say how
Yeah.
busy is town, based on the line
Based
at the
on
bubble.
the line at the bubble, and you get some busy periods, but it's not maybe
It's not
consistent.
that night after
Right,
night
right.
where it's
They're
the
just
lines
slammed.
pushed to blacks and
Yeah.
So, but it is, businesses are open, and life is happening in Wolfeboro. We do have some sports. The golf courses are open. We have sports going on. The restaurants are open.
Right.
People are wearing masks. Not everybody, but people are wearing masks. I wish a few more people would wear masks.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I think that's how we're going to stay safe.
Right.
And, the more people that are responsible, the better chance we have of continuing on. And if we're a sports talk show, the better chance we're going to have of having fall sports is if people are being responsible.
Absolutely. And the interesting thing about the masks is even, you get people that say there's no science behind it, and there's people that say, look at all the science behind it. And I think you just kind of arrive at the point where it's just common courtesy. Whether you believe it or not, put a mask on. If it works, great. If it doesn't, great. You put it on out of respect for your fellow human.
It's a great point, and I think that whether it's 100% effective or 10% effective, it's not 0% effective. That I think we're pretty sure of.
Sure.
And if you're wearing a mask and I'm wearing a mask, and we're obviously within each other's bubble here, so
sure, of course.
But if you're walking down the street and you run into a stranger and they're within 6 feet of you and they have a mask and you have a mask, there's a much better chance that things aren't going to be passed back and forth.
That's right. And you're showing respect towards the other person.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right. So the football golf tournament happened.
Yeah, I've got a little info on that. So congratulations, first of all, to Coach Landry and the Friends of Kingswood Football for throwing another fantastic tournament. That happened yesterday, and the weather held out for them. They had a lot of great sponsors, local sponsors. So I know that he is ecstatic about that. I was able to find out the winner. Or the winning team. And the winning team was none other than our sponsor. It was the Skelly family.
Really?
The Skelly family won it all. And, I had teased him on some social media stuff. We're going back and forth about how, I expected it because the Skelly family always wins. And, he came back and he's like, we don't always win, but we always try to win, So it was good. So congratulations to the Skelly family for taking home the championship yesterday.
Nice, and congratulations to the football team. And
yes,
hopefully that gets their season off on the right foot. And
definitely great fundraiser. Yep.
All right, nationally, we'll start with baseball. We are less than 2 weeks away.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
When we get to the show actually airing this Friday, I think we're about a week away.
Yeah, what is it? July 24th, right?
Yep.
It's Red Sox first game.
I had written no news is good news, but then Aroldis Chapman
tested positive.
Yes. And I think that, and we had talked about this a few weeks ago, there's going to be players that test positive in all the sports.
Yes.
How the sport deals with it is going to be what's important.
Right.
If we go back to school, and the Kingswood football team is playing, there's going to be somebody who probably tests positive at some point.
Right.
How the precautions that are put in place and how things are dealt with
is
going to be to determine the success.
Right.
It's a pandemic. Things are gonna, people are gonna. But can we live with it? Can we live in somewhat safe? Can we live safely?
Right.
If it's floating around, and I think that's what baseball and NFL and so on are dealing with. Is that so? What do they do with somebody test positive? They're testing all the time.
Yep.
Somebody tests positive, they remove them from the environment. Until they test clear, and then they test everybody who was around them.
Right.
All these guys are getting tested daily, pretty much.
Right.
So they're able to pick one up right away.
This is. I think this. You can agree or disagree. I think this is a good litmus test, kind of for society. Now, the thing we would have to do if we took this and said, "Hey, let's apply this to schools." Well, if you're going to apply it to schools, then do we have the ability to test everyone all the time like they do with professional sports?
No, and it's a shame because that's what the countries that have done really well.
Yeah.
They've tested everybody all the time.
All the time.
And if somebody tests positive, they pull them out. New Zealand was a great example. New Zealand has no new cases.
Right.
Because whenever they were testing everybody all the time, and whenever they had somebody, they pulled them out of society.
Yep. Right.
Until they tested, South Korea, same thing. They were testing everybody from the beginning. Testing has been obviously in the news about the reason why we have so many cases because we're testing.
Right.
But that's how you find out who's
got it.
Who's got it, and
who
you pull out.
Who you need to isolate.
Yeah, and I think that you're right. I think what's happening with baseball and sports in general is a great test
good
for
model.
General society.
Absolutely.
But we need the testing. NFL. So let's go to the NBA first because we'll spend some time in the NFL. NFL, interesting. I'm sorry.
We're going NBA.
NBA. Russell Westbrook
Yes.
was one of the best players in the league.
Yeah.
He tested positive. Sent out. He says he'll do his time.
Yeah.
He's not upset or anything like that. I mean,
Right.
I guess he's upset he tested,
Of
but
course.
he's been pulled himself out.
Yeah.
Interesting story, and I forget his name. That one of the players left the bubble in Orlando to go get takeout
To
food.
get some takeout, yeah.
And so there's strict rules in there. They want
Yeah.
that bubble really tight, and so they quarantine him for 10 days.
Yeah.
You are not going to have anything to
Yeah.
do with anybody for 10 days.
Oh, that's good. That was a good move. I mean, we had joked about this before, but like in Orlando, you can just have food delivered. Plus, they're NBA players. There's no reason that he needed to leave the bubble. So, but
I could see, some of them are going to be there for 3 months. That maybe, I mean,
you know what?
I would love to be at Disney for 3 months.
I know. Well, let's put it in perspective, okay? When you go to basic training in the United States Army, you go away for 3 months. You don't get to see your family or anything.
You don't get takeout?
Yeah, and you don't get takeout. You also don't make millions and millions of dollars. So I think
Well,
an NBA player can handle that.
You think so, but Rondo can't because Rajon,
Yeah.
he tweeted when he got to his hotel room.
Yeah.
He tweeted a picture of it. Now, this hotel room is at one of the Disney resorts, and 99.9% of the people in America would be very happy to stay in this hotel room.
Sure.
I mean, it is beautiful.
Yeah.
And he tweeted Motel 6 for the way to go NBA, and so he decided he's out.
He's out. Yeah. It doesn't meet
it's a-
doesn't meet his standards.
It's a bad look.
It's a terrible look.
It's a really
Like, come
bad
on.
look. Not that we were not fan of Rondo on this show.
No.
I mean, we liked his game for a little while.
For a
but,
little while. We never liked his attitude.
No, and so he's out. So now the Lakers don't have Avery Bradley, and now they don't have Rajon Rondo.
Right.
They're still picked to win.
Yeah. I mean, they're still a pretty good
So
team.
they still have LeBron and AD. So
Yeah.
But
It'll be interesting to see what happens.
it'll be interesting to see. Now, what happens if they're in this thing for let's say a month,
Yeah.
and some people are homesick, and they.
Oh my gosh, Mike.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
The 11th guy on the bench, he's gonna be like,
I don't get any playtime, and I haven't seen my wife and family.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I get it, but yeah, I don't know. I hope they can, just obviously I want to see sports, and hopefully they can just, get through it. I mean, I don't know what it's like. I mean, how to get through it. I mean, they're millionaires
On top of millionaires.
playing a sport in the happiest place on earth, right? Disney World, right? So I don't think it's not a hard life.
No, it's not. They're really not. It's not basic training, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, it's not.
NHL, I'm going to use it again. No news is good news.
Yes.
The NHL is up in Canada.
Yeah.
And they're not messing around up there.
No.
And so they don't have any cases that I know of right now since they've been up there.
Yep. They're doing their thing, getting ready.
And they're playing all their games in Canada.
Yep. Which is
it
good.
wouldn't surprise me if by the time their games start that we start seeing fans up there. I don't know what their cases are going to be because they're just not letting anybody in from America.
Right.
And their cases are going to go down and down and down. So
random thoughts that I think about. These are random thoughts that I think about.
please share.
So thank you. So you've got two American teams playing in Canada. Do they still do the Canadian national anthem and the American national anthem? You do
Yes.
both?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too. I love the Canadian national anthem.
Oh, yeah.
Just so you know. But I was just wondering, Nick, if you don't have a Canadian and an American team. But
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to have Canadian American
I
players.
was gonna say you're gonna have Canadian. Well, you're not gonna have. Excuse me, you're not gonna have any fans. But yeah, you're right. You have Canadian and American players. So we'll see.
Maybe they don't do that. Maybe they don't do any.
I
national
don't know.
anthem.
I don't know.
So my understanding is that they're planning on having there's 2 rinks that they're using,
yeah,
and then they're going to run 6 games a day.
it's gonna be so
It's
awesome
gonna be
for
like
the viewers.
It's going to be like a youth hockey
Yeah,
tournament.
I know.
It is. It's just,
In between, they're gonna
3-minute warm up. Go.
Yeah, they're gonna eat oranges in between and go to the next. Drink your
That's
Gatorade.
awesome. Yeah.
But how about us as viewers?
Oh,
We're
my
gonna be
God.
in heaven. Just sit there and watch hockey.
If you're a hockey fan,
Yeah.
you're going to be able to, on a hot summer day,
Yeah.
to be able to kick back and just watch game after game after game. And these guys are going to be playing for obviously they're getting paid a lot of money, but there's no fans.
Right.
And it's going to be like a men's hockey league game. They're
Yeah.
gonna be like a game of shinny, and they're going to be out there just playing. And it's going to be fun to watch.
It will be.
It's going to be I wonder if they're going to be. I know that in baseball they were pumping in sound.
Yeah.
I don't understand why.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be no sound in these games. I watched the golf tournament this week, or the end of the golf tournament, and is at Muirfield Village, and there's no fans for these golf tournaments, and so when they got to the 18th, there was like 25, 30 people in the gallery or whatever.
Yeah.
They were all players. They were all players just coming out to watch their buddies come in.
Play, yeah.
Like it's a regular club championship or something like that, and they can't do that normally because there's thousands upon thousands of fans.
Yeah, they can't hang out. They got to go to the club.
They're just lying on the grass.
Yeah.
It's just such a different look, and it's actually it brings a little purity to the sport back.
Yeah, right.
Rather than just doing it for the fans, you're just playing for the sport.
Playing for the love of the sport. Yeah, and you don't really need, especially like if you look at baseball or any sport, pumping in noise is ridiculous when you're not going to have fans.
Right.
I get it. I get it if you're preparing, a playoff game and it's so loud in the end zone or whatever, and you want to have that extra distraction. But I mean,
now I'm wondering if they're going to be pumping in noise during the games, and that's why they want the people to get used to it. I hope they don't.
Yeah.
I don't want a fake noise, a laugh track or something like that.
It's terrible. I don't want that.
Just play naturally.
Yeah. I mean,
I'll give you an example. In this golf tournament, there was a big putt that was sunk, and it was Justin Thomas, and you heard him yell, Rah!
Yeah.
You would never have heard that before because the fans would have drowned out.
Yeah, they would have gone crazy.
It was really cool to hear him, yell like a, Joe Amateur made a putt on the 18th for a Saturday morning group.
Yeah. I agree, and that's what I want to hear. That's what I was going to say. And it'd be almost nice if, we don't have to mic up the players, but I just want to hear the natural. It'd be great to hear the interactions between players, and that's the best part. I think the best part of the game. Yeah. So,
NFL was in the news a little bit. The Washington Redskins are changing their name. They're no longer going to be the Washington Redskins.
Yeah, they put out an official post saying they're exploring different names.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is this the beginning of other teams changing their names, you think? Do you think that...
it's interesting. Is it the slippery slope? Is that what you're asking? Is this where, like, if one team changes a name, then all of a sudden, we need the New England Patriots shouldn't be Patriot, or whatever,
Well, so I've heard the Patriots name come up before.
Yeah. Do they should teams change the names? And I don't know. I think it's I guess I don't know. It's really.
I think if a group of people that is the name is surrounding them.
Yeah.
If they're offended.
Yep.
Then I think it should be looked at. I don't think me and you should be able to put in our 2 cents about.
Yeah.
The Redskins.
No.
But if the group of people that is being offended has an issue, then I think that they.
Right. If there's a Native American group that's offended and says, you know what, this is a derogatory term, we don't like it, would you guys consider changing your name? Yes. I think that's appropriate.
And that's where I think the line should be. Now, there's, the Cleveland Indians.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Because we're not Native American.
Exactly. So if the Native Americans want to think that name should be changed, then they can speak up and they should do that. But
sure.
I don't think it should be a blank slate that everybody has to have this politically correct name for everybody. I think that the groups that are identified, if they speak up and if they want that name changed or if they have a problem with it, then they can speak up.
They can communicate that, and then the ownership can take a look at it, or the NFL can look at it. But yeah, I think you're right. We kind of.
The Redskins have been, the Washington Redskins have been in the news for a long time.
Oh yeah, this isn't new.
And there certainly are groups of Native Americans that had a problem with this.
Yep.
In the dictionary, it's considered derogatory. So
sure.
This is not a surprise.
Right.
And maybe it's certainly time for Washington to be looking at their name.
Right.
At least have an open debate about it. And they're past the debate. They're going to change their name. And listening to some of the proposals.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. I think I mentioned to you yesterday that there's a realtor in the D.C. area.
Yeah.
Who trademarked every possible name that he could think of that the Redskins would change their name to.
Yep. So they're going to have to go through him.
They have to go through
pay him some money.
And pretty smart.
Absolutely.
Pretty smart.
Absolutely.
But some of the names that he chose, the Radskins were one of them.
The Radskins.
But he was just brainstorming and just trademark, everything that he could possibly think of, different spellings of names.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Cam Newton.
Yes.
I will tell you, I am beginning to get excited a little bit about
Good.
this, about the potential.
That's good.
I think that now I'm believing in Bill. I trust.
Yeah, of course.
And what Bill can do. Bill has had a very immobile quarterback, who was one-dimensional for the last 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Brady is the greatest
But it
ever.
works,
He's
yeah.
the greatest winner ever,
Yeah.
and I'm not just. Now he's got a physical specimen
Yeah,
who can do a whole bunch of different things. I think there's reason to be excited about that.
definitely.
How do you feel about all the hype videos that Cam Newton's putting out? That's not exactly the
That's
Patriot
that's
way.
not the Patriot way. So I mean, there's got to be some compromise there. There has to be some communication where the Patriots are on board a little bit, because if the Patriots weren't on board, then they would shut it down.
I hope so.
Yeah.
And I hope as the season gets closer, it stops being about Cam.
Oh, it's got to stop being about Cam. I mean, there's no,
and
on the Patriots, it was never about an individual.
I think that's one of the reasons why Carolina ended up distancing themselves from him, because it was
Yeah.
always about him.
Right.
And
But I'll tell you something. That being said, and obviously I support Bill and the Patriots way. If Cam Newton wants to come in, I mean, he's one and done. So I mean, he's not gonna stay with the Patriots after 1 year. If he wants to come in and make it a little bit about him and get the Patriots to a Super Bowl, I can live with that.
I can live with just about anything for the Patriots to win another Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Anything reasonable, I really
Sure.
can. Who is the Kyrie Irving? Even when Kyrie was with the Celtics,
Yeah.
and we, or especially me, despise Kyrie Irving and everything he stood for.
Yeah.
If they would have won a championship, I would have,
Yeah. It was kind of like that argument with David Price.
Yes.
Where we had talked about. So.
Yes. I mean,
Yeah.
until they won, we were really on their case about it, and I'm glad he's gone.
Of course. Yeah.
Both of them.
Yeah. So I'm excited about Cam Newton. You saw that the Madden was released, and poor Jarrett Stidham, his rating is so low. So then you saw Tom Brady's rating went down to 90. I don't know I'm not a big video gamer, but I do follow a little bit about that. But
There was a few 99s. Patrick
Yeah.
Mahomes was a 99.
Yeah. Brady's a 90.
Christian McCaffrey was a 99.
Yeah.
That stuff really means nothing to me. So
No, but it means nothing. But it's still a dig on the player. It's a dig on poor Jarrett Stidham.
well, what has Jarrett Stidham done?
Nothing.
No, he's thrown a
Threw a pick,
six.
pick six. Yeah.
And that's
Right.
it. So I believe that Cam Newton was brought in because they saw something in Jarrett Stidham that
They were concerned
about.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out on a limb, though, and say whether it's Cam Newton, Jarrett Stidham, or Brian Hoyer,
Yeah.
they are going to be better than they were going to get better quarterback play this year than they did last year.
Yeah.
I think that Brady had 1 foot out the door last year,
Yeah.
and I think Jarrett Stidham will give them better quarterback play than they did. I think he'll throw to more guys. I think
Right.
you'll see, the N'Keal Harrys of the world, and whoever else they
Yeah.
bring in. Who is
I mean, Julian Edelman looks like he's awesome. I mean, we know that he's awesome, but he looks like even better now. Like
I'm surprised. That
my
surprised
concern
me.
was like, oh boy, my buddy Tom left.
Yeah.
Like whatever.
I'm really surprised.
Yeah. So he seems to be all in. Like, wow, it's going to be an amazing year for him.
The Brady Edelman released something when they signed Cam Newton,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
Brady. I'll always be your first.
Yeah. 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 So
It was kind of
yeah.
It was cool, but if Edelman's on board, that'll bring the rest of them on board. And
Definitely.
James White's on board.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to be on board with whoever their quarterback is. And I think they're excited about the possibility of Cam Newton, because you know that everybody in that Patriots locker room wants to win without Tom Brady. And it's not a slight against Tom Brady, but
Right.
that team was thought of carried by Tom Brady for the last 20 years.
Right.
And, you and I believe that Belichick had as much to do with that as anybody else.
Absolutely. But think about this. If you're a defensive coordinator for any team that's going to play New England this year, you need to be a little bit worried, because in the past, you knew that Tom couldn't run outside the tackles.
Yeah.
That was never going to be an option.
Pressure up the middle.
Yeah, so here we go. Oh boy, anything can happen now.
Anything can
so
happen.
now you got to worry and plan, because it's completely different.
It'll be interesting. So I am coming around a little bit on this. We'll see. He'll probably get cut in the first. I was going to say preseason, but
He'll be cut by the end of our show. Like, no.
there is no preseason.
No,
There's
there's no
games.
preseason. Yeah, which is great. I hope they never bring back preseason games.
Just start.
Yeah, just play football, play for real. So and if they're going to do, I mean, if they want to have one, whatever, to iron out the kinks, or
think-
give some guys a shot. That
I think all the preseasons are too long.
yeah,
I don't get it. Baseball, 2 months of preseason. Why?
Yeah.
I mean, why?
I guess so. Let me back up on my comment. I guess you need to have at least one preseason game because you got guys that are competing for positions, and you do at least want to see them in game situation that you can't do that on a practice field.
Okay, so you can.
So you can have like you would end up with a preseason game. It would be game, I don't know. What is it? The second game. The third game is kind of when the starters come and do their thing. So maybe it's like the second game where you allow guys that are trying to compete for positions to go out there.
I want no preseason games.
Okay.
Let them. It puts
Determine it on the practice field.
Yeah, it puts more on the coaches to figure their things out in practices. What kind of practices they run. I have faith in Bill Belichick that he's going to pick his team based on that and see who's prepared for game one.
What about the owners, though? Do you think they probably enjoy preseason because they get to parking and food and tickets and all that?
Full ticket price for a preseason game.
I know. We went to preseason last year. I mean, we thoroughly enjoyed it, but it was full season. I mean, full season. Full price, full everything.
If you have season tickets, you're required to buy those 2 preseason games.
Okay.
As part of your package.
Buy 2 preseason. Okay.
2 preseason, 2 home games.
Yeah.
And at full price.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Especially if you get the 4th one or the first one when
Yeah.
you're watching a bunch of UPS drivers out there, basically.
It's true.
So anyway, all right, let's bring Megan in.
Okay. That sounds great.
So Megan Twitchell's going to join us. She is the assistant to the sports information director at American University.
And a Kingswood alum.
Kingswood alum, thank you.
Yep.
We'll be right back. As promised, Coach, we have a guest today.
That's great.
Megan Twitchell is joining us. Welcome, Megan.
Hello.
So we're trying to branch out a little bit and do some different things within the sports world, and we see Megan quite a bit. She's the assistant coach of the senior Babe Ruth baseball team this summer, assisting Camp Place. Congratulations on the win last night, by the way, Megan.
Yeah, you guys are doing great. Team's looking good.
Yeah.
It's all your coaching. We know that.
Yes.
Definitely, yeah.
So Megan, what your connection to sports, besides coaching, is that you're the assistant to the sports information director at American University. Which is really cool. So can you tell us a little bit about what a sports information director does?
So basically, the sports information director is the person who's in charge of communicating all of the information about the sports teams to the public. Depending on the level of the school and how big it is, they have multiple. So at American, we have 3, and at a school like Duke, you're probably going to have 1 for each team. And so they basically just run social media. They are the ones who are writing up the reports of the games after every single game, and they're going on the road with the teams and doing the live social media during games and all that stuff.
So if someone watching this program said, "Hey, I want to get into this field. I want to do this," what do they need to do?
So you're probably going to need a history in running social media and have experience on making your own Instagram posts. Knowing InDesign and Photoshop and being able to make your own graphics would be really huge. Obviously, knowing the language of the sports you'd like to be involved in. So.
Nice.
Great.
So as an assistant to the sports information director, what is your role specific? How do you support him or her?
So my boss is a woman, and she mainly does volleyball, swim, and dive, and wrestling. And then I find myself working soccer games pretty often as well. So when I go to games, I'm mainly running social media. So I'm either doing Instagram, so I'm just walking around the court or the field and taking live videos and putting on Instagram, or I'm on Twitter, and they do live cuts. So if a really nice play happens, I cut that out of the live stream and I can post it on Twitter and give an update to the game.
Nice. That's so. Okay, now I'm a little bit more familiar with this now because Sam's club hockey team had a live Twitter feed going for all their games, and I think that what Megan said, the bigger schools almost have an SID for for each team or an assistant for each team doing it. That's pretty cool. I know Coach already asked what somebody does to get into it. What are your plans after school, Megan, when you graduate?
So I am not absolutely sure yet. I'm either probably going to work for a nonprofit or go down the sports path. Right now I'm building myself up for the sports path, and that's what I enjoy the most, so that's what I'm probably going to go for. I actually just got approved to be the viceroy for our Barstool page as well. So
nice.
That's cool.
El Presidente.
Just having the title viceroy is cool.
That is really cool.
So you're at American University, correct?
Yep.
So how did you end up at American, and what's your major and all that? And tell us about American University.
All right. So American's like a pretty small school. It's only like 8,000 kids in the northwest of Washington, D.C. It was kind of always my dream school. I don't know why I got into it. It's kind of hard to get into, but I like geared up for it for like 3 years and did a lot to get in. I'm majoring in public relations and strategic communications with a minor in Spanish. And it's a really awesome school. I love it a lot. It gives me a lot of access into the city, and there's a lot of internship programs that I'm probably going to start looking into this coming year. So
that's great.
Yeah.
I want to.
We're in the Patriot League.
I'm sorry, Megan. I want to jump back to the Barstool thing. So, because I think it's really cool, and you're starting to see schools. A lot of schools have this.
Yeah.
What would be your job as? What's the name again?
Viceroy.
Viceroy.
So the Viceroy is just like, they typically have a few people on the team, and it's just the Viceroy is just like the title they give you. But you just are the one posting on social media. I'm mainly going to be gearing into the Twitter because our Twitter like doesn't have a lot of activity on it and trying to get more people engaged. And since I work for the SID office, I have like the most information about like our sports. So I'm going to be trying to get more kids on campus engaged with sports, because even though we're a D1 school and a lot of our teams win our conference, not many kids are involved in our sports. So we're trying to make that way more involved on campus life.
So is this different than, because you see like Barstool Plymouth, which is pretty much just they show all the parties.
Yeah.
Or guys jumping off the bridge. So would yours be more focused on the sports?
So Barstools are more geared towards the environment of the school itself. And so my school is not a big party school at all. But we also are not, our sports are really good. We're a D1 school, but our student life like isn't very involved in the sports. Like not many people go to our games. So right now our bar school is mainly focusing on like politics and like lawyer jokes, because everybody goes to my school wants to get into politics. So what I'm trying to do as the viceroy is just trying to get like more activity with sports and students more engaged in that.
That's awesome.
Can you educate us a little bit with the social media piece? You know, I have this preconception of different platforms. So like, for example, Facebook would be for like old people like us. And then we obviously, for Mike and the Hoss, we have Instagram and we have Twitter. But like, where are people? We're college age kids. What platform are they using? What are they? Where are they going to?
The main things you're gonna see are Instagram and Twitter.
Okay.
Especially for like sports information and looking for like news and things like that.
Gotcha.
All right.
Yeah, I never have had like a question about a sports team and hopped onto their Facebook to get an answer.
Yeah, neither have I. That's right.
No. I mean, both Coach and I are relatively big on Twitter, as far as we use Twitter a lot to get a lot of our information, and so I think Twitter is making more of a comeback, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see it a little bit more prevalent and going across age groups a little bit more. I certainly like Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah.
Facebook, like you
and
said.
having experience with Twitter and knowing how to use it, it's definitely like key when you're looking for a job in communications in this day and age.
Nice. Megan, awesome job.
Yeah.
Great information. I like it when we and our viewers can learn a little bit.
Yeah.
And to learn a little bit about what a viceroy is.
Yeah, what a viceroy is. Sorry, one more question. Are you guys going back to campus this fall, or are you guys doing remote?
So we are doing like hybrid classes. So some of our classes can be online and some of them are going to be in person, or like they're going to meet in person like every 2 weeks or so.
Mm-hmm.
But we had the option that if we couldn't afford to find housing in DC, because they're only offering on-campus housing to freshmen.
Oh.
So yeah, my housing was canceled on me, so I had to find an apartment. But if I wasn't able to find an apartment, I had the option of like telling the school that I would have been able to just take online classes.
Gotcha. So you're heading back to the city. That's great.
Yep.
Nice.
Nice. Megan, thank you.
Yep,
Great
thanks.
job, and we will talk to you soon.
Take care.
All right, bye.
All right, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Megan did a great job, and I want to learn more about Barstool stuff. I love Barstool. I am so into Barstool, and that's becoming a massive media company.
Absolutely. I mean, David Portnoy has, done so much with that company.
Oh,
And
he's entertaining.
He is. And let's just go back. I will never probably have the title Viceroy, but that is the coolest thing. It brings me it's like Star Wars-esque, Viceroy. So, but that's cool. So it's exciting that Megan is going to be doing that with Barstool. It's exciting that she's going to be graduating soon from the American University. We didn't ask her. What year is she? She must be a junior.
She's going to be a sophomore.
Sophomore, okay. Yeah, so she's just starting out.
She's got a few more years.
But that's great.
Megan did a great job. So it was nice to have her and educated us and hopefully some of our viewers about the things that happen off the field.
Yeah, that's true. And I feel younger now because she validated that using Twitter and Instagram, which is what Mike and the Hoss use, and we use in our personal life. So
Mike and the Hoss.
We are kind of hip. Huh? How about that? Kinda.
We are kinda. All right, that's going to do it for us. We'll thank our sponsors, Morrissey's Portrait Pub,
Downtown Grill and Cafe,
and Skelly's Market. Thank you, and have a great weekend.
Go Knights.
Go Knights.